Welcome back to Kdramas Decoded, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode of your favorite K-drama. Episode 2 begins at Apello, where director Lee Chan and the merchandising team are reviewing applications from fashion brands hoping to join the platform. Competition is extremely fierce, with more than 30 brands sending samples in just 1 month. As they examine the products, Lee Chan immediately notices that many of them resemble designs seen during Fashion Week. He explains that while many domestic brands have been influenced by recent trends, Apello has no interest in working with brands that only copy others. He believes every brand on the platform should have its own identity, so only a handful of applications are selected for further review. After the meeting, the company's CEO speaks privately with Lee Chan. Looking back on Apello's beginnings, they remember how the business started as a tiny 3-pyong select shop because Lee Chan simply collected clothes he wanted to wear himself. Now that Apello has grown into a platform carrying hundreds of brands, the CEO reminds him that the company carries far greater responsibility than before. Lee Chan replies that the CEO has been carrying that responsibility well, while the CEO says that if the company's direction ever becomes distorted, everyone following behind them will fall as well. Lee Chan agrees, and the conversation ends with both men sharing the responsibility of leading the company forward. Elsewhere in the office, Daram nervously prepares for work. While carrying items, she accidentally drops something, and Lee Chan quietly picks it up for her before continuing on his way. Although the interaction lasts only a few seconds, Daram is left completely flustered after meeting the celebrity she has admired for years. A little later, Lee Chan properly introduces himself to Daram. Since she missed the company welcome dinner after leaving early, this is effectively their first real conversation. He welcomes her to the company and surprises her by already knowing her name. Daram promises to work hard, but after he leaves, she can barely contain her excitement and happily celebrates finally meeting her favorite idol in person. The scene then shifts to a small handmade craft workshop where Lee Chan visits an old friend. The friend jokes that perhaps Lee Chan should change careers altogether and work there instead. Lee Chan laughs along as the two tease each other while making handmade crafts. Soon afterwards, Daram visits the very same workshop without realizing Lee Chan has just been there. She notices a handmade item that looks exactly like the one Lee Chan is known for giving fans when signing autographs. Since it is her birthday, she politely asks whether she can buy it as a present for herself. However, the employee explains that the workshop is only for experiences and does not sell the finished products because each item is made personally by customers. Although disappointed, Daram thanks them and leaves. As Daram walks away, someone quietly says, "So it was you back then," suggesting they recognize her from an earlier encounter. Back at Apello, Daram's cheerful mood is obvious to everyone. Her coworkers comment that she seems unusually happy despite the team being extremely busy. When someone suggests going out for a beer after work, Daram barely pays attention because she is still thinking about Lee Chan. Later, Daram excitedly tells her friend about finally meeting Lee Chan. Her friend jokes that she looks like someone who has won the lottery. Daram even treasures the tiny moment they spoke, calling it one of the happiest days of her life. Her friend teases her about previously insisting that a necklace was secretly a gift from Lee Chan, but Daram insists this latest encounter feels different. The following day, employees begin talking about Apello's outstanding employee program. Every year, one employee is selected to participate in an overseas project, and this year's destination will be New York Fashion Week. The winner is personally chosen by the CEO, and Lee Chan has participated every year since the tradition began. Hearing this immediately gives Daram a new goal. She decides she wants to become outstanding employee. Determined to improve her chances, Daram begins asking her team leader questions about the CEO. She learns that he likes drinking sweet chocolate lattes from the office capsule machine, spends time on the rooftop after lunch because he enjoys sunlight, and secretly appreciates compliments about his clothing. Daram immediately puts the advice into action. First, she prepares a chocolate latte for the CEO. Unfortunately, he politely declines because he only drinks 1 cup a day and has already had one. Next, she waits for him on the rooftop and enthusiastically begins talking about the importance of vitamin D and sunlight. Instead of appreciating the conversation, the CEO simply tells her she is blocking the sunlight and asks her to move. Finally, she compliments his shirt and tie combination, saying he looks as though he belongs on a fashion runway. The CEO calmly replies that he is wearing exactly the same clothes as the previous day because he worked all night, leaving Daram thoroughly embarrassed. After these awkward encounters, the CEO discusses Daram with Lee Chan. He comments that she seems to be intentionally approaching him and jokingly wonders whether a rival company might have sent her. Lee Chan jokingly dismisses the idea, saying she is hardly using a beauty strategy, before laughing that perhaps her strength is simply being cute. The two ultimately conclude that she is simply an unusual employee. Meanwhile, Daram complains to her friend that every attempt to speak with the CEO ends in failure because he never leaves any opening for conversation. Her friend suggests that perhaps he is intentionally refusing to let anyone get close to him. Not long afterwards, a celebrity gossip article begins spreading online. The rumor claims that a famous former idol is secretly dating the CEO of a fashion platform after being hired by the company to hide their relationship. Daram immediately recognizes that many people could assume the article refers to Lee Chan and a pillow. However, she quickly rejects the rumor because she remembers Lee Chan once saying in an interview that his first love was an older female classmate. She concludes that the article must simply be another false rumor. The story then returns to a pillow, where preparations begin for the company's upcoming fashion show. During a planning meeting, one employee spends a long time explaining current fashion trends before presenting an idea. The CEO interrupts, explaining that future reports should take less than 1 minute because he wants clear conclusions rather than lengthy explanations. After approving the camping concept for the new lookbook, he asks whether anyone would like to help promote the fashion show through Apello's social media channels. Remembering that proactive employees leave a good impression, Daram immediately volunteers. Although another employee questions whether she has enough experience, the CEO decides to give Daram the opportunity and instructs her to accompany him to the fashion show rehearsal later that day. At one participating designer's showroom, the owner gratefully thanks Apello for giving small brands a chance to appear in the event. They reveal they even took out loans to produce enough new clothing for the show because opportunities like this are incredibly rare. The CEO encourages them and wishes them success before leaving. Watching the conversation makes Daram compare fashion brands to idols, thinking about how much hard work lies behind every successful debut. The rehearsal begins, but problems quickly appear when one of the models slips because of moisture created by excessive dry ice on the runway. To make sure the stage is safe, Daram volunteers to walk across the runway herself while wearing heels. Although she nearly loses her balance, she successfully identifies the slippery section, allowing the staff to clean it properly before the real event. Later that day, Daram attends a press event where Lee Chan appears alongside actress Yoon Cho-hee to promote their new drama. During the press conference, reporters ask whether the pair developed romantic feelings while filming together. Cho-hee admits she has always admired Lee Chan and says that acting opposite him helped her emotional performance. Lee Chan politely praises Cho-hee in return, saying her charm shines throughout the drama. After the event finishes, Daram accidentally witnesses a private conversation between the two actors. Cho-hee desperately asks Lee Chan not to end their relationship. Lee Chan gently tells her that although he did have feelings for her, those feelings were never true love. He explains that the relationship simply was not right for either of them and tells her she deserves someone who accepts her exactly as she is. Unable to accept the breakup, Cho-hee insists she cannot let him go. On her way home, Daram listens to one of DNX's old songs. Lee Chan notices and asks whether she used to be a fan of the group. When Daram shyly admits that he was her favorite member, Lee Chan smiles and tells her that, when they are alone, she can comfortably call him Oppa. Since she accidentally left her phone in the office, Lee Chan writes his phone number directly onto her hand and tells her to contact him later. Daram is completely overwhelmed. Her friends excitedly tease her, wondering whether writing the number on her hand instead of simply entering it into her phone could actually mean something. In the middle of the discussion, one of them accidentally calls the number. A woman answers the phone and casually explains that Lee Chan is currently in the shower. Embarrassed, Daram immediately apologizes and hangs up. Assuming Lee Chan has a girlfriend, she tells herself that as his fan she only wants him to be happy, regardless of who he is dating. At the same time, Daram remembers the online rumor suggesting the CEO has feelings for Lee Chan. Believing the CEO has secretly loved him for a long time, she begins feeling sorry for him instead. The following day, Daram quietly leaves the CEO a supportive drink, along with a short note encouraging him to stay strong. The CEO drinks it without knowing why she suddenly decided to cheer him up. As preparations for the fashion show continue, the CEO asks one of the managers about Daram's performance. The manager praises her as hardworking, cheerful, and willing to volunteer for anything. He also mentions that Daram recently asked how she could become outstanding employee. Soon afterwards, Daram discovers that an important promotional file she created for the fashion show has disappeared. Although she insists she can recreate everything before the deadline because she has already done it once, she is disappointed in herself and stays late at the office trying to finish the work again. When she finally leaves work, heavy rain is falling outside. At the subway station, she unexpectedly meets the CEO, who reveals that he also lives in the same neighborhood. Since his car is currently being repaired, he offers to walk home with her. During the walk, the CEO notices she seems discouraged. Daram admits she made a mistake at work. Rather than criticizing her, he calmly tells her that mistakes happen because people are working hard. If someone never makes mistakes, it usually means they are not doing anything at all. His words comfort Daram and completely surprise her because she had assumed he was always cold and intimidating. As they continue walking, Daram remarks that she never knew they lived in the same neighborhood. The CEO quietly comments that perhaps they have crossed paths before. Eventually, they arrive near Daram's home, where she thanks him for walking her back safely and promises to keep one of his secrets to herself before saying goodbye. The episode ends with Daram feeling much closer to both men for very different reasons. Lee Chan has shown unexpected kindness to one of his oldest fans, while the CEO has revealed a much warmer side beneath his strict personality. However, Daram is still carrying several misunderstandings, especially regarding Lee Chan's love life and the CEO's feelings, setting up even more complications for the episodes ahead.